What's going on, everyone? Keegs and Ben back at you with another Silksong video, and this time we are going to be talking the different zones in all of Silksong and which ones we liked the best and which ones we liked the least. This is going to be talking about basically our overall enjoyment of each of the zones, and that's about it for all of the criteria. So, did you want to say hi, Ben? And was there anything you wanted to say before we kick off with this list?
Hello. Overall, really enjoyed the areas in this game, but I do have some criticisms we can get into as they come up.
Heck yeah. Also, this ranking list only goes down to D, although I have an F in my mind.
Yeah.
But we'll start off with the first zone that everybody is going to start in, which is the Mosslands. So how did you feel about the very first zone of the game?
I think it's pretty good. It's pretty straightforward, hard to get lost, but it kind of introduces the verticality early on. I like the continuity it has with the cutscene, and that there's that giant shaft that you can fall all the way down to. And
I think I fell down it twice, and the first time I was like, does this go all the way down? And then obviously it did. And then when I did it again, as soon as I started falling, I'm like, God damn it.
Yep. I did that a couple times thinking, oh, okay, not realizing where I was because I didn't have the map yet, but jumping down and then thinking, oh, maybe there's something there, and then there's not. You're jumping all the way back down. Well, I mean, there is stuff down there. There's the Weavenest Atla and maybe a couple other things to find, but that was a little annoying, but not that big of a deal. It's cool, how it is congruous with the cutscene, though.
Yeah.
Exactly where she falls out. You can fall all the way down from that location in the actual map to the start.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Where do you want to put this, though, in your ranking? Where would you say this goes?
I'll put it in A. It's definitely a good starting area. I like the exploration you do. It gets vertical pretty quickly. You do get the Silk Spear.
Oh, yeah.
Moss Home.
Yep, that's your ability.
And that's a really fun ability. It's probably one of my favorites. One of the Silk abilities throughout the whole game. So we start off strong.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something I used quite a bit, especially at the beginning of the game, more so than maybe towards the end of it.
Yeah. The thing that was interesting about that is I did think that the Silk abilities were going to have more world utility, but after the first the damaging abilities like Silk Spear, the Thread Storm, and stuff like that, I think the only one that you actually need for progression is the Silk Spear. I haven't decided if I like that or not. I thought it was cool that there were certain barriers you can only get through with the Silk Spear early on.
True. And that was only early on, though, because that only happened a couple times in the first few zones, which is kind of weird, I feel like, because I feel like they could have made more things accessible through different abilities. It was weird just to have that mechanic for the first couple zones of the game and not really anywhere else.
Yeah, the number of abilities that actually grant you access to new things is not that high, but hard to think about in context of other games right now. But
I'm also going to go A for this just because it's one of those things that's getting you into the whole world of Silksong and then the map, getting you used to it. But there's nothing too crazy or nothing that really stands out as amazing. So actually, maybe I drop it down to B. I like the vibe. I like the songs. They're nice and almost comforting in a sense.
Yeah, it is. It's very pretty area. Not the prettiest in the game, but very welcoming.
All right, so now moving on to the second zone that basically everyone is going to find is the Marrow. How did you feel about this one?
I did like this one. Kind of goes from green and pretty to gray and sort of depressing really fast.
Yeah, for sure. It's a stark transition.
I guess Hollow Knight is pretty bleak as well, though it is pretty also. I do like this zone. The first time I went through it, I found it a little cumbersome. There feels like there's places where you can go or jump that don't have anything near them, or maybe they don't expose themselves until later. There's a floating platform, one of those disappearing ones with the rocks, and I swear there's an area where you can jump on one that's off in the corner and there's nothing there. It's very odd, but I like how it bleeds into the deep docks with the lava becoming more apparent as you progress through it. I'd say something this zone actually does better than some of the other zones is kind of weave different parts of itself through. It's not just a straight line.
Yep.
Different ways to get to the same place.
A lot of different paths and things. No, I definitely agree with that.
I like this zone. I don't know if I love it. Probably a B for me.
See, I'm going to invert you there. I'm going to go with A for me. I think it has a lot more to offer. There's a lot of good items in this zone, and the whole vibe and theme of this I feel like is very reminiscent of Hollow Knight. Just the color palette alone and kind of the way it's laid out feels more original Hollow Knight, and I feel like it eases players into the map pretty well. Like, you get something new at the very beginning, and then you kind of get back into this familiar type of environment with semi-familiar sort of enemies before it really starts to throw you off the deep end with a tons of platforming and different sections like that. So I think what it's going for is accomplished pretty well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Then the third zone that we have on our list is the Deep Docks. How do you feel about the Deep Docks?
Man, so like the first time you go here, I think is an A, but I might be biased to the fact that you get the best ability in the game here, which is Swift Step.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that makes the game way more tolerable just to move around the map.
Yeah, that might also be coloring my perception of the Marrow as well, because of what movement you have access to the first time you get there. But I did enjoy it the first time. The lower area of the Deep Docks, I also enjoyed. I think it's one of the first like semi-difficult rooms that traps you with an enemy gauntlet. And
yeah, for sure.
I do like this area. There's a lot to explore. There is kind of the issue that I have with it actually is that it's a little bit linear, but I think it does it well here because you kind of loop through, you run through, and then you circle back around to get the Swift Step, and then it takes you back to the start. So you don't feel like you're wasting a bunch of time, which is nice.
Yeah.
The thing is that you can go down first and get lost in the lower area for a while before you realize that the Swift Step is up there, but you don't really have a way of knowing that. So
yeah, I think that move is very vital to get for your enjoyment of the game. If you don't get that, I think it'll be very frustrating for you in a lot of senses.
Yeah. Well, and unless there are some skips that I don't know about, you do need the Swift Step to get through the game. I think maybe there is some cheese you can do with like routing enemies closer to you to bounce off of them to get to it. So I think you actually can skip the Swift Step for at least for a while.
Dang. This seems not fun to play without that.
No, but if you're going through for a low percent run of the game, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But aesthetically, to me, this is like a 9 out of 10. The whole zone experience. There's one like really irritating part that pisses me off before
There's
the
one
Forge
irritating part of the zone. Is that what you said?
Yeah, leading into the Forge Brothers, where there are just tons of those guys that float and throw those exploding like fire bombs at you.
Yeah,
I hate those guys.
To me, the first time I went to this zone is a 9 out of 10. I freaking love this zone. But the second time I went back and I got like deeper into it and unlocked some doors, it just got so annoying with some of the enemies in it. There's the one room where you're going up each platform and you've got the one enemies on the steps that like shoot things out, which you have to dodge, and it's kind of annoying because of the way those arcs are. And then you have those big huge dudes that run after you, and they literally never stop until you change zones, which is crazy. And they can jump through every platform, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then you have those flyer guys that throw their bombs at you and also have a weird amount of health for kind of an early game. So I thought it got frustrating. That being said, I still did like the zone a lot. To me, this is an A. It's top of A for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'd put it above the Mosslands too, despite the fact that it has a lot of like really irritating moments. Just because the aesthetics are so cool, and for the most part, the challenge of running through it is pretty fun. But it does have really annoying parts that keep it from being S tier. There's another part later. This might have been what you were talking about, but like when there's like the giant versions of like those lava slug things.
Yeah.
And you have to run through, and the floor is dangerous. That part really annoys me, and it annoys me so much I actually don't think it's designed very well. It just seems irritating.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to get through it quickly and I'm just bad, but I felt like that part was D tier, but the rest of the zone is good.
Yeah, I think overall aesthetically wise it's super fun, and there's a whole bunch of things to get and so many places to explore in the Deep Docks, which I really appreciate because you can spend a significant portion of time, especially in the early game, around there. Moving on though, we have Hunter's March. Now, I know this was one of the points in the game for a lot of people that became super frustrating, because this is basically the thing that said if you cannot pogo and if you're not willing to platform all the time, then you won't be able to progress any further really in the game. I think this is the thing that truly tested you to make sure that you had that pogo down to a T. What do you think?
Yeah, and the other bad part about this is that you can get here before even going to the deep docks. And you can like
You wouldn't
bust your head
there's
against
no way you could get super far. I mean, if you're a speedrunner or just really good at the game, I guess. But my God, I couldn't imagine going through this zone without Swift Step.
Swift Step. Yeah, the mini boss is really hard without the Swift Step. It is doable, but once you have the Swift Step, you can just run away from his attacks every time.
The mini boss to get into the zone.
Before that, it's very, very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
I believe that's the. I believe that's the only way to like actually progress the zone though. So like, you have to go through that entrance in the Marrow. The other
I believe that's
through the deep docks, I think, requires
you to already be there.
The cling or double jump, which you wouldn't have by this point. Oh man, like this zone really made me like.
Yeah, that mini boss was tough. And also that room that you get trapped in with a terrible run back. That's really one of the times I started to get super frustrated at the beginning of this game. You have that really long run, and then it traps you into that room that you have to beat a ton of enemies for. And to me, that was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you trigger it, but you can have a chakra come help you in that fight, and it makes it way easier.
Well, let me tell you, he did not help me for shit here.
Yeah, she did not on my first playthrough, but she did on the second. So I don't know what triggers it. Maybe it's having all the maps up until that point, a certain number of interactions. I have no clue. But yeah, and the bench up until there's only one bench in the zone. If you
it's a hard zone. There's so many enemies that are very annoying. There's a lot of flyers in here, and there's thorns everywhere. You're pogoing, so you're juggling a ton of different potential attacks and ways to get injured with not very many rest points in it. To me, this is like a bottom B tier for me. I think it's cool, and I like that it really hammers home the point that it's trying to make, which is get better at platforming, and I think I did get better because of that, but just the sheer annoyance of all of the things cumulatively in here really annoyed me.
If you died, you basically had to start the zone over again, and that will happen a lot because you're still learning to put. I feel like this could have been a little easier and still driven home the point of the platforming challenge. The fact that like you have to start from the Marrow bench, you have to climb up a little bit in the Marrow, then you have to run all to where you were.
Yeah,
a little ridiculous, and I could be misremembering, but I think this is the first trap bench too. So you imagine like getting all the way there. Oh yeah, I found a bench, and then you're like one health, and then you get hit by that and die and have to run all the way back. Like, man, that sort of stuff would be a lot cuter and like whimsical and funny if you didn't have to run through like 5 minutes of zone again. Really unnecessary. I feel like if this just had a bench between the one in the Marrow and the second one, this would be a better experience. I know they the frustration's part of the point of this game, it seems. But
yeah, so where do you put this?
Bottom of B. All
right. Now we're going on to the Far Fields. I thought this was a pretty fun zone, actually. You get the Silk Soar ability, which I thought was a fun mechanic through the whole game. Something that I always enjoyed using. What did you think?
This zone was really fun. I like the Silk Soar. I think that the way you get it... So I was confused as to why those enemies weren't dropping them until I figured out that you needed to hit them. That feels like a layer of obtuseness that was not necessary for this early in the game. I don't know if anyone else had an issue with that, but the first time I went through it, I'm like, why aren't they dropping them? I'm pretty sure this is the enemy to collect the spines or whatever.
I thought if you just got close to them, they would pop. No?
No, so they'll launch them if you get close or going for an attack. But I didn't know that you had to hit the spines themselves for you to be able to pick them up.
Gotcha. Yes.
Cool zone. I really like it aesthetically. I like the giant wind shaft. It's very memorable.
Yep.
The one thing that I don't like, though, and this is going to occur more than once in the game, is that there are these really long stretches in the game that getting back just involves you running right back through. I don't really like that design. This feels like a layer of backtracking that's unnecessary. There's even this like giant empty spot in the map that they could have added a shortcut or something.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there's definitely room, especially looking at the map. There's so much room where you could have added a few more shortcuts here or there just to cut that down, because it's not hard. It just sort of takes a while.
Yes. And
or like put a tram system in that allows you to kind of go, or one of the tube things that shoot you, if they could have worked that in somehow to make a few more save points. or traversal points.
It's to the point where like it happens often enough that I think the design is intentional. Like that's what they want. I don't really see any value in that personally. It's just annoying. Now the other thing is I think you're really supposed to like hit this zone before you hit Hunter's March, so it is definitely easier than Hunter's March. So if you do this first, you're gonna have a much better time with Hunter's March, which I think is what ended up happening for me. I went back and did Farfields, then came back to Hunter's March, which is part of what the game wants you to do. If like you're hitting your head against the wall, it wants you to go somewhere.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it was apparent for me with the mini boss just to get into Hunter's March. I tried him a few times, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna come back to this, and that's when I think I actually went to Farfields myself, and then went around there, leveled up a little bit, came back, beat the mini boss to get into Hunter's March, and then worked through that whole area.
Yeah, I think for me, Farfields is probably at the top of A, actually. I like it more than Deep Docks and Mosslands.
I am in agreement. You know, I liked it too. I liked it. A
thinking more on our discussion, actually I'm going to put Mosslands at the top of B.
Mosslands.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. You made a compelling point, and as we're kind of going through it, I'm like, I was kind of grading it on the curve because it's the first zone.
Yeah, and it's your introduction to the game, so I get it.
Yeah.
The next zone we have is Greymoor. So, Birdtown, what do you got?
I really enjoy the challenges here, and I like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Super depressing, but it also has like a really cozy halfway home.
Yep.
Which I really enjoy, and you meet the weird slug thing.
That is really nice. The halfway home feels like a little inn that you just kind of want to hang out in for a bit. So I agree. I liked it. For some reason, like I want to hate this zone, but I actually really like it. I don't know why, but
yeah, it's funny because this zone, like I think technically is the most like egregious. What I view as design errors. Like both areas stretch to each side and they're like fairly linear, and you have to do a lot of running back to get back to the middle, just down like one straight path. I mean, there's some variance on the right side and the left side, but
yeah,
it still involves a lot of retreading the same area to navigate. And I know that that's part of Metroidvanias, but this feels excessive. The thing that saves it, I think, is that on each side, when you do something, it unlocks different aspects of the zone. So like when you go towards the Crawl Lake and you defeat the enemy gauntlet there the first time,
yep,
you get the bouncy balloon things that change how you navigate the zone. And I really like that. I love when you do something in a zone and it changes how you interact with the whole thing. So that was really sick. But it does have a lot of like mostly linear areas that you have to retread just to get back to where you want to go, and that's annoying to me.
Yeah, I like so many of the aspects of this zone. There's a lot in the middles of the zone that I don't like. Some of the enemies were kind of annoying, but I love the huge windmill thing, and the enemies changed, and I felt like had a pretty good variety. I loved the crow challenges. I thought that was fun. Bouncing on the balloons all the way up, I thought was super cool. So, for me, I'm going to go right under Farfields.
Yeah, I'd put it there too. Despite having those design things that I don't like, overall the zone comes together very well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Moving on, though, we have Bellhart. This is funny because I feel like there's I'm ranking a lot of things highly right now, but I actually love Bellhart. I thought, even though it's kind of a small zone in itself, the ambiance, especially the first time you go there, I think is so creepy and super cool. So I like that. I didn't love the small corridors of bells. I thought they were okay, but overall, I thought it was a pretty cool zone. What about you?
Yeah, I like aesthetics are 10 out of 10, but like as a traversal experience, I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
I don't like the quest that you do there. The one where like you find the bells, the shining bells, and it seems somewhat RNG.
Yeah, and it's super tedious and just boring. It's not even hard. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard. Because to me, like going through the zone and traversing it is like 4 out of 10, but the aesthetics are 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So I actually think this is going to be my first C.
Really?
And it's kind of like a tepid C because like the gameplay experience isn't that good aside from the boss and
true. And it's really small, but it is where your home is.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's the other thing is like the vibes are great, like the area itself, but as like a complete gameplay experience, like it wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
But I like the Bellhart town a lot.
That's fair. I'm gonna go bottom of B for myself. Actually, I liked it more than Hunter's March. I like that your home's there. It's a super small area, to be honest. There's not a lot to it, but I don't know. It has a lot of character, I feel like, and that's kind of what sets it over. And that's about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Moving on, we are going to Shellwood. How do you feel about Shellwood?
I feel like I really like the aesthetics, but something about it, about the whole area, feels bland to me. I don't know why. Like, it might be because there aren't a lot of unique mechanics here. They do have like the flowers, and then the flowers that are sometimes those little bugs or whatever's that, you know, explode. But I don't know, something about this zone, like I enjoyed going through it, but I feel like I don't remember it very well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so to me, this is actually going to be my first C. I want to like this, but I don't. I don't think the water is very fun or well designed. I feel like I get hit by those, like if you fall in the water, there's no easy, you don't pop out of the water as easily as I would like to. And I don't know, I felt like I just got hit by those stupid little things that hovered on the water. Jumping through the whole tower I thought was more complicated than fun. I always fell down the wrong side of like the needle interior for it, and every time I did that I'm like, god dang it, so I have to like climb all the way back up and go to the left side.
You know what else there is? I agree with that point. It's a little overly complex for what it is. There are a lot of like large tall rooms that like, you're jumping on things and moving around because you're trying to figure out where to go, but there are like, I think I want to say like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 area like parts of Shellwood that if you jump to the wrong area, you just have to climb all the way back up, and that's annoying.
Yeah,
it wasn't that annoying because it doesn't stick out to me as like, you know, monstrous or anything, but yeah, not that like memorable of a place, even though aesthetically I do like it.
Yeah, I just thought
this the top of C as well.
Top of C. Yeah, I just thought the traversal through this zone got annoying. After I had unlocked everything, I get having certain difficulties about the zone when you're going through it for the first time, but I should be able to unlock more shortcuts that make it easier to traverse after I'm going back, because when I am at the end of Act 3 or whatever, and I'm like going around, and it still takes me forever to go all the way up one side, all the way back down another side, make a wrong turn, and I'm at a dead end, even though it feels like this should be the way that, like, you know, it connects to the other side. It just, there's no door for it, so you have to go all the way back up and around to get to it. So to me, that's kind of why I just didn't enjoy going back there ever.
Yeah, that's a reoccurring problem in the game, actually. There are some clever connections between zones, but oftentimes I feel like I'm retreading a lot of the same lengthy areas just to get back to certain places, and I feel like there could have definitely been more shortcuts around the zone.
Yep.
I think this sort of backtracking works in games like maybe Metroid Zero Mission or Super Metroid, when the places are smaller, so it's not as like cumbersome to go through a second time. When you have to backtrack as much as this game wants you to, and there aren't a lot of like shortcuts that you can find, that's a little frustrating. And I can already hear people saying, well, there are shortcuts. I'm like, kind of. They're more like long cuts. They're just like a different way to get to the same spot, but they take just as long, so they don't really feel like shortcuts.
Yep.
I would say that's a recurring problem that is starting to show here.
I agree. Up next, we have Wormways. How did you feel about Wormways?
This is another C for me.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like the aesthetic, but it's very samey.
Where in C do you want this?
At the bottom.
Yeah.
It's very. It kind of feels like it's trying to be Deep Nest a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm drawing a parallel there.
I think there's a lot of similarities between this and Deep Nest.
But Deep Nest is sick because you can just fall into it earlier than you're supposed to, and you don't know where you are.
You're completely lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's larger. There's more, I think, more interesting things to find in Deep Nest. In Wormways, there's the one guy has that quest. I think it's cool how the place evolves over time and becomes more infected with the plasma that he was discovering.
Yeah.
But the boss here is also complete ass, in my opinion. I hate it. We went over that in our previous video. Check that out.
Plug.
But overall, not a huge fan. There is like a Weavenest area in here, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, not a huge fan.
Same. Bottom of C for me as well. I didn't find it that interesting. It's honestly a pretty small zone. There's not a lot to it, but it's mostly just boring to me. There wasn't a lot, and you know what I actually really hated about it was that the fact that this was closed off, like the entire zone basically was closed off with a simple key at the very beginning of the game, and I'm like, come on. Like, that's how we're gonna do this?
Which would have been, you can get to part of the zone without the key.
Yeah,
but
there's like a mash shard.
You can't explore the most meaningful parts of it without it. You can come back like way later and fall from Shellwood actually and explore part of it. I don't believe you can explore the whole thing though without the key.
No, I think you still need the simple key to get to the westmost part of the map.
Yeah, so not big on this one.
Yeah.
Don't have that much to say. So.
All right, Weavenest Atla. What do you think?
This might be my first S tier actually.
Oh,
which
wow.
might be surprising.
That is surprising.
One, I like that you find it in the start of the game where you begin the game. I love that kind of stuff when there's like a big secret towards the beginning that you didn't have access to.
Sure.
That is, and fun. It's not like complicated, but I love like the aesthetic. There's a lot of like eeriness and mystery to it. You get a lot of upgrades here. It's kind of a reoccurring thing where you get to come back, talk to, what's her name? Edna? Eve?
I think it's Eve.
Yeah, Eve. And you get her powers and you eventually absorb her. A lot of lore. The aesthetics are cool. I actually wish there was more of these. Like they have a couple more, but they're not as layered as Weavenest Atla is.
You know, to me this is a B. I think this is a top B for me. I see what you're saying. I just didn't love it. I don't know. To me, there wasn't a lot to do. Getting the mask shard in this was so annoying. Like, it took me forever.
I don't even remember it, but
it's like this platforming thing in lava where you have to go all the way across and hop over or whatever. There's like falling things of lava in there. It's just annoying, I thought, and there's not much to it. Eve is cool, and I agree, having some secret thing there was pretty cool, coming back to it, but it was always annoying for me to go back to. Every time I needed to go back to Eve, it felt like such a trek to go all the way down to Weavenest Atla.
It's definitely a trek.
Like, oh my God, I have to go all the way back again, don't I?
I might be grading this one on a curve a little bit, but I just the discovery of it like was so cool that it's like getting by on those vibes alone, which I will not be consistent about for the rest of the zones.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a totally valid point. After that, though, we have Sinner's Road. To me, this is a D tier. Fucking hated this place.
I hate how gross it is. I feel like if this just looked different, I would like it more. But it has the dirty water. All the enemies are gross. The boss that you fight here is gross.
Yep.
And it has the roaches, which are maybe the most annoying enemy in the game.
And they're so strong. Why are they so strong?
They're so tanky. Yeah, there's a quest for them that just, if anyone is stumbling upon this and hasn't beaten this game yet, you do not have to do this quest. You actually can get the thing that you need from the quest by just waiting until Act 3, and the guys who gave you the quest are dead. So.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Hate it. Hate it.
I assume this is a D for you as well?
Yeah, like there's some things I like about it, but it also has another trap bench. And it's you're going through this disgusting area, and I'm like, man, I just don't like gross areas in games. I don't really like them in like the Soul series either. Some of the sewer levels are pretty sick, like the one in Elden Ring is cool.
Unlocking the bench in Sinner's Road was such a pain.
Yeah, well, because you get there with one life, and then you have to do this like platforming challenge after you fall down, and it's like, okay.
To me, it was so annoying. Everything about it, and you fall with the maggots, and then those get on you, and you're like, God dang it. So let me go back and clean off, go back. Just the zone itself was so annoying.
Yep.
And I hated the roaches with a passion. So.
Yep.
We're not getting any better, though. In fact, I think we're getting worse, because we're going to Bilewater, which I think is the worst in the game for me. I don't know that there's anything I disliked more than Bilewater, and the fact that the game made you go back to Bilewater so many times, I felt like I was always like, oh my God, do I really have to go back to Bilewater? And yeah, there's not an easy way to get through it at all. Even after having completed the whole zone and all the shortcuts are unlocked, it's still annoying every time you go back, and it just feels like, you know what, I'm just gonna put all my rosaries in rosary strings so that I know that I'm gonna die at least a couple times trying to get back through it again.
Yeah, I'm of two minds about this place. So one, it gets docked a point for being gross. I'm biased against the gross areas. I do like the platforming challenges in a vacuum, I think, are fun with like the giant enemies in there you have to kind of climb.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I enjoyed that challenge. What made this so irritating is the lack of benches. And this is also guilty of the long cut thing, but worse than Shellwood.
Yeah.
Like there are technically like multiple ways to get back to like the kind of main tower area, but they're all long horizontal shafts.
Yep.
Or hallways rather.
And the fact that you can't heal if you ever fall in the muck. Like
yeah,
having to get more silk to try to take the muck off you, to me was such a time suck, because I had to sit there and farm enemies sometimes just so that I could get enough silk to get the freaking muck off me.
Yeah, in my mind, like there's only one area in the game worse than this one, and it sucks because like I said, I do like the individual challenges, but the navigation of this place and the dirty water, the grossness of the whole thing, like yeah, D tier for me too.
Yeah,
sadly. This
Below
place is really
Row?
Frustrating. Yeah, the closest I got to quitting the game was here, and then I was like, no. I'm
really
really glad
not.
that I didn't.
I assume the closest you got to quitting were Last Judge.
That and this and Last Judge. I would say the run back, even with the quote unquote better secret bench, which is like
still garbage.
Only better by definition. It's not like a good bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It just pisses me off.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for the first half of the zones that you're going to visit in Hollow Knight Silksong. Ended on the lowest note possible for a lot of people with Bilewater, but let us know of the first half of zones in Hollow Knight Silksong, which were your favorite and which were the most frustrating for you. Catch us in our next video talking about the second half of maps in Silksong, and maybe I'll even have an S up there. Keegs and Ben signing off. We'll catch you in the next one.